So I've had the CampX pop-up camper for just over a year now. I wanted to give you guys a brief kind of review of how things are going and how the unit works. So the main thing is it's a extremely durable pop-up camper, and I used it extensively this winter driving to Revelstoke and Golden and sledding in the backcountry, and the overall envelope is really well insulated, and the heater is got huge capacity. So and also having a hot water tank that you can operate below freezing is nice. Just washing dishes or cleaning yourself up after a day is really nice. So I kept water in it, and everything went. You gotta just manage the environment that you're in. So if it's extremely cold, it might not be the best idea, but a lot of the times I was going out to Revelstoke, you're just below zero, so it wasn't too difficult. I did install a couple isolation taps and winterize this connection on the outside. In the propane cabinet, I put the 2 bottles in, and then I put a T in here. So just kind of not recommend doing that unless you're gonna run one bottle at a time, because when you put the T in, you can actually transfer propane back and forth. So that's kind of want to make sure you're aware of that if you're gonna do something like that. So obviously if you put a proper T in, it gives you like a selection device either bottle. So what I typically do is I'll just isolate it from here right at the bottle. So but yeah, the truck, it's the 2020 Duramax 3-liter, and I'll typically get, right now I just checked, it's like 13.5 liters per 100, and that's like a combination of city and highway, so that's pretty good. And then with the sled trailer, I was getting about 17.5, 18 liters per 100 going from Calgary to Revelstoke or Golden, that kind of thing, so with some hills in there. So I upgraded the tires. These are a light truck tire, just a little bit more sturdy, and they're 1/2 inch bigger than stock, so get a little bit of clearance. But overall, if you're gonna do some hardcore off-road, probably gonna want to put this camper on a heavy duty truck. But for going down the highway and logging roads and that kind of thing, it works really well. So I did install some timber bump stops just to kind of help the bottoming resistance a bit, but it sits pretty level as is here in the parking lot. So this is kind of an earlier model, so some of the ones that they're making right now have a couple of changes on them. So just show you guys inside here. Done a couple of things. This carpet was a pretty good upgrade, and then having something that you can put your wet boots on is another good one for the winter camping. So I'll just pop the top, and it's pretty easy to do. So let's push this. Actually goes up by itself pretty easy. So I'll just show you guys in here. I put some more foam down just to kind of keep things more stable, because the composite's pretty slippery. So this is just kind of kitchen stuff, and obviously did a bit more insulating here. And then I guess as far as condensation goes, it's kind of something you're gonna have to manage. So I put another pad here just to help with the condensation. If you're going to be winter camping in kind of a unit like this and you're trying to dry gear out, it's kind of you're gonna have to manage the condensation to some degree. As far as maintaining the heat in the camper, it's not hard to do with the heater. I typically crank it to 30, and then it goes into the high speed, and then open the roof vent and crack this window, and then the camper will stay fairly dry when you're drying gear in the evening time. So, but pretty happy with the camper so far. and excited to get a bunch more trips in this summer. So I wanted to talk about winter camping a bit more, and the condensation buildup inside the camper. So what's happening is, moisture is going to accumulate in these corners here and then in the front two corners of the camper. And that's basically just because there's not enough heat there to keep the composite warm. So what I did is I put in this extra insulation to see if that helps. I never actually got to use this extra insulation that I put in there, but I did use this bed a lot when I was taking buddies out sledding. They'd stay on this bed, and after a couple of days you get some moisture in the corners and up in the front of the camper. So before next year, I'm going to add another kind of layer of foam. I haven't decided what I'm going to do as far as the foam goes, just to kind of help with that moisture buildup. But I did notice, when you're right at freeze point, which is basically all year round in Revelstoke, it does kind of dip down to -10 there, but lots of times you're sledding at the valley level, you're at 0, and humidity's at 100%. So that's where I found that there was the most buildup of moisture inside the camper. But when the temperature drops down, to -20 or something like that, the air is actually quite a bit drier. So I didn't find it was that much of an issue. But staying in Revelstoke and being at 100% humidity all the time, it would build up some moisture in there. And it's just something that you got to consider when you're out there camping. As far as using the camper and being comfortable in here, it wasn't an issue. It's actually quite comfortable in the winter. There's no problem staying warm. The insulated sidewalls are very, there's more than enough insulation to keep the camper warm in here. So anyways, that's about it.